Right now at noon, a night of inclement road conditions caused a pair of tractor trailers to crash off I-44 and US 60.
And we are not done with the inclement weather yet. Take a look at the MoDOT cameras around the area. We've got sleet, we've got some slick spots, we've got some light ice, and it's not over yet. The latest coming up.
And a Knoll, Missouri fire investigation turns into a death investigation.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Carrie Worthen. Let's go straight to Chris Warner for your first look at the forecast.
Yeah, Carrie, we are starting our day with a traffic alert for you. We've had this traffic alert all morning long because we have got slick spots really along and south of I-44. That's been the trend, and that's the way it's going to be. Take a look at the MoDOT cameras from around the metro area. You can see this is range line and I-44. That's sleet, that's some light snow, that's some light ice out there. Same here, 7th and Garden Grove, still slick spots there. I-44 by Main Street, slick spots. And then the camera at 20th and Range Line, which I do actually like how it's positioned because you can see what the conditions look like right there at that intersection. And we're not done with it yet. Take a look. We still have some light to moderate snow, even some moderate sleet. And just moments ago, now this radar is not loading the lightning, there was lightning being picked up in this activity near Tulsa. So we're talking thunder snow and thunder sleet. And that's why we've had some changes to the advisories out there. So we've got winter weather advisories for these counties here through midnight tonight. The pink counties are a winter storm warning now that runs through midnight. And we've got winter weather advisories in northeast Oklahoma through 6 o'clock tonight. So we've got a lot going on. Now, yesterday, we made it to 42 after starting at 20, close to normal over there. Today, ain't going to be nothing like that, unfortunately. It is cold. 21 Iola, 20 Chetopa, Miami, 18 Neosho and Carthage. You factor in that wind. Yeah. It's bitterly cold. It is dangerously cold. We've got 6 in Fort Scott's what it feels like, 6 in Commerce, 10 in Neosho, feels like 7 in Carthage. Now we're still on track for a high of about 25, but some of us still dealing with that wintry mix, again, right around I-44 and points south. We'll keep an eye on this. We'll tell you when this is going to clear out and whether or not we're going to warm up anytime soon here in just a few minutes.
We have some developing news coming out of Commerce, Oklahoma. The Quapaw Nation Marshals Service is conducting a death investigation on Vine Street in Commerce. Authorities say there is currently no threat known to the community related to the incident. However, there are numerous public safety vehicles on scene, and authorities ask that the public avoids the area so that the public safety officials can complete their work. This is a developing story, and we'll update it as more information comes available. A Noel, Missouri fire investigation turns into a death investigation. Just before 7 a.m. Sunday morning, McDonald County Emergency 911 were alerted to structure fire near North Kings Highway and Railroad Street inside city limits. Authorities discovered a shed fully involved in fire. While crews extinguished the blaze, they discovered a body that has perished in the fire. The subject has not been identified, but authorities believe the deceased was living in the shed. The Missouri State Fire Marshal was contacted to assist in the investigation of the fire. Authorities plan to conduct an autopsy this week. You can follow this developing story on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. Multiple tractor-trailer crashes occur on a night of inclement weather conditions. Just after 7 p.m. Sunday night, Newton County Central Communications were alerted to crashes at I-49 and US 60. Authorities discovered 2 tractor-trailers left I-49 and crashed below onto US 60. One crashed through the median between the bridges over US 60. One crash trapped the driver. Troopers say the drivers and passengers suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Due to inclement weather, the Joplin Police Department has initiated emergency road conditions. Under these conditions, the department asks all drivers to only venture out if absolutely necessary. They say if you are involved in a traffic crash and nobody is injured, that the drivers are to exchange information, including names, addresses, phone numbers, insurance companies, and policy numbers. Drivers should also move their vehicles off the roadway as soon as possible. Officers will only respond to any crash involving injuries or where one of the drivers leaves the scene without exchanging information. The matchup is set for Super Bowl 57, and it's a good one. The Kansas City Chiefs will play the Philadelphia Eagles in Arizona on February 12th. The Chiefs won a nail-biter over Cincinnati last night after the Eagles won big over San Francisco. Jerika Dukin has the highlights.
Second and goal. And it off. Sanders walks in.
The Eagles dominated the 49ers Sunday on offense and defense.
Pressure coming. Purdy. Deck.
San Francisco's Brock Purdy, the third-string quarterback who led the team's Cinderella run in the playoffs, took a hard hit in the first quarter, sidelining him with an elbow injury.
Johnson hit as he throws.
The injured Purdy later had to re-enter the game after fourth-string QB Josh Johnson suffered a concussion. It was a win for Philadelphia, 31-7.
Fly, Eagles, fly on the road to victory.
Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts led a packed Lincoln Financial Field and singing the team's fight song.
And watch those Eagles fly.
And elated Philly fans took to the streets to celebrate, managing to climb poles law enforcement had greased as a deterrent.
Is it there? End zone. Caught.
In Kansas City, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes visibly fought through a high ankle sprain suffered in last week's divisional game as he led the team to a nail-biting victory.
And a flag's coming in to put him 15 yards closer.
Tied with just seconds to go, a late hit penalty against the Bengals defense moved the Chiefs into field goal range for the game-winning kick. Final score, 23-20. Our Nate Burleson was there with CBS Sports to see it all unfold. Here's what he had to say about the Chiefs-Eagles Super Bowl matchup.
It will be the best air game that we have seen in quite some time with the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles, who can control the game by controlling the ground.
It'll be the Chiefs' third Super Bowl appearance in the last 4 years, all under head coach Andy Reid, who coached the Eagles for more than a decade before joining Kansas City in 2013.
I can't wait till Kansas City and Philly clash. It's gonna be awesome, man.
Jerika Duncan, CBS News, New York.
For the first time ever in a Super Bowl, there's a brother against brother showdown between Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce and Philadelphia center Jason Kelce. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on the KOAM News at noon. Doctors say that this brain gene therapy holds promise for a number of brain disorders. And later, we're making a sheet pan toad in a hole in the Mr. Food Test kitchen. An American family living in Thailand says a new method of delivering gene therapy has saved their daughter's life. Doctors say the treatment holds promise for a number of brain disorders. CBS's Ian Lee reports from London.
Riley Ann's parents knew something was wrong when she was just a few months old.
She wasn't rolling, she wasn't moving much.
The Pulin family took countless trips to the emergency room in Thailand, where doctors first thought she had epilepsy or cerebral palsy.
My wife is bawling her eyes out, my daughter's in pain, and there's nothing I can do.
At a year old, she was diagnosed with AADC deficiency, an extremely rare disorder that interferes with the way cells in the nervous system communicate.
I remember Googling and it says no cure available. My heart just shattered and I thought it was over.
But months later, a gene therapy clinical trial in Taiwan would change everything.
We were so thankful.
In a minimally invasive surgery, doctors delivered genetic material directly to Riley Ann's brain, curing the condition.
And just by having the one procedure, you're able to correct the genetic defect so that the patient has restorative life for the rest of their life.
The treatment transformed Riley Ann's world. She's now a healthy and active 4-year-old.
She went from being basically paraplegic, can't move, can't thrive, to interacting with the world.
It's a new life for her.
Riley Ann's new life could give hope to others, as experts believe brain-delivered gene therapy also holds promise for treating other diseases. Ian Lee, CBS News.
Still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
A sheet pan meal that's as fitting for breakfast as it is for dinner. And believe it or not, it's done in less than 15 minutes.
But first, we're dealing with wintry weather across the area, and it's not done yet. We'll take a look at additional chances and the warm-up when we come back. Well, we're beginning our noon hour with another traffic alert for you across the area as we are continuing to deal with sleet, some freezing drizzle out there, and even a little bit of light snow. Taking a live look at the MoDOT cameras around the Joplin metro area, and you can see every angle gives us the same story. We've got sleet, we've got light snow, we've got icy roadways out there. Road crews have been at it since early this morning, but the system just will not let go, and it's really confined to right along and south of the I-44 corridor. If you get too far outside of that zone, you haven't really seen much of anything other than the extreme cold. That's why, taking a look in Kansas, the only partially covered roadways are right here in Cherokee County, right on the edge of where this precipitation is falling. Looking into Missouri, though, and I made sure that this wasn't just a technical glitch, MoDOT from this morning, no significant change, as we're still looking at covered roadways south of I-44, partly covered from Joplin to Mount Vernon to Springfield, and then from Mount Vernon to Greenfield to Stockton, and then Barton and Vernon counties still showing mostly clear roads up that way because, again, here you can see, and they are just right outside of that zone. Now remember, though, with the radar and with winter precipitation, it's a little bit harder for it to pick up. So there's still some additional light snow falling in a little band around all of this, but the heavier stuff really starting to show up across the area. Our own Lance Benning reported some very heavy sleet down in Neosho earlier when some of this activity was moving through. And then these are lightning strikes. There were a few more of them earlier, but just to the east of the Tulsa area, they're dealing with thunder snow and thunder sleet. So this is what we're looking at. This is a potent little system. That's why we have winter weather advisories for these purple counties that are until midnight tonight. The pink counties are winter storm warnings through midnight tonight. And then for the rest of northeast Oklahoma and our area, that's another winter weather advisory through Wednesday at 6 a.m. because this isn't the only system we're going to see. So the big travel impacts here are the icy road conditions. If you're in those zones, make sure you are slowing down, taking it easy. We are at 18 in Joplin, feeling like 5, and that's with a north-northeast breeze at about 12 miles an hour. You look at temperatures across the region, whether you're seeing precipitation or not, it's cold. 21, Yates Center, Chanute, Iola, Parsons, 20, Chautauqua, Miami, 18, Neosho, Carthage, and 20 in Lamar. And then you factor in that breeze, and it feels like 10 in Iola, 6 in Fort Scott and Commerce, 10 in Neosho, feels like 7 in Carthage right now. And the wind chill over the next 24 hours, not going to be so pleasant. So this is by 2 o'clock. We're looking at a temperature around 15 and a breeze of about 15. Make it feel like 0. And as we head through the evening, we get a little warmer briefly, so we get a wind chill of maybe around 9. And as the overnight progresses, it just gets bitterly cold. And so even a light breeze can lead to a very dangerous wind chill out there. So don't be out unless you absolutely have to be. I mean, the road conditions are enough to stay home. 25, the still expected high. Wintry mix for some of us through the evening hours. Then as we head overnight, it stops. We'll be cloudy and we'll be cold as we drop back down to 14 for our overnight low tonight. Another shot of wintry weather tomorrow afternoon and evening across the region. 27 otherwise, and check out Wednesday, up to 40. 45 for Groundhog Day, so hopefully Punxsutawney does not see his shadow. And after we get through that, we are into the lower 50s heading into this weekend. So there is some improvement on the horizon, but today and into tomorrow, winter is just kind of giving us the 1-2 punch here. So, and there still could be some thunder sleet, maybe some light thunder snow along and south of I-44 as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. So we're not anticipating significant accumulations, but it's going to be enough, just like last night. There wasn't a lot that actually came down, but it is enough to make those roads dangerous to drive on. So stay indoors unless you absolutely have to be out.
I know we came from different ways. I came from Pittsburgh, you came from Joplin, and we had different road experiences on the way in.
Yeah, and that was the other thing. Coming from Joplin, I mean, once I got close to Kansas, the roads were suddenly clear. And that's the thing. We had a number of school closings this morning. I'd say there's a fair chance we'll have another number of them tomorrow morning as this system rolls through this afternoon and evening, because it's not going to do any melting anytime soon.
Yeah, the low's 14, so make sure people keep their faucets dripping so there's no frozen pipes.
Yeah, it's going to be cold.
Yes, thank you. We take this time to honor today's four-state hero. Billy Dios served in the U.S. Navy from 1951 to 1955. The Arcadian, Kansas native was stationed in Korea To Radio Man Third Class Billy Diangos, we thank you, our 4th state hero. If you love breakfast food and not a lot of cleanup, this recipe is just for you. Howard shows us how to make sheet pan toad in a hole in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
The last thing any of us want to do after making a meal is to clean up a bunch of pots and pans. That's probably why sheet pan cooking has become so popular. If you're not familiar with it, today's recipe will introduce you to the concept. It's a recipe that's perfect for any time of day, including dinner. Well, that's when you serve breakfast for dinner. We start by cutting a hole in the center of 6 slices of country-style or sourdough bread. We butter one side and place it butter side down on a baking sheet. Next, we crack an egg into each hole and sprinkle it with some Parmesan cheese and a bit of salt and pepper. All that's left to do now is bake them until the eggs are cooked just the way you like them. Ooh. Once they're done, we'll top them with some crumbled bacon along with some sliced scallions. That's it. Whether you serve this for a hearty breakfast or a fun change of pace dinner, you're going to love how all the flavors and textures come together. If you'd like to try the recipe for our sheet pan toad in a hole, simply visit our website. I'm Howard with Hungry Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found an easy breezy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our 4 state market prices.
We got winter weather advisories, winter storm warnings out there along and south of I-44 as we deal with another round of wintry weather, and then we'll have another round tomorrow evening or afternoon and evening as well. Once we get through that, though, whether that groundhog sees his shadow or not won't matter because we are heading back into the lower 50s by this weekend.
Be positive he will not see his shadow.
I'm certainly hoping not at this point.
And groundhogs are very reliable.
Extraordinarily so.
Yeah.
All right, Don, what we have coming up at 5?
Well, at 5, President Biden is going to be meeting with House Speaker Kevin McCarthy this week to see if they can find a compromise on raising the debt ceiling. Plus, we'll hear from the Missouri Department of Transportation on a plan for the 24 hours to keep roads safe for drivers. And the latest on the weather forecast as more storm systems appear to be moving in. Hope you join us for those stories. KOAM News at 5.
Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.